Hey guys, it's StarrySky and today I'm bringing you a couple of loadouts to do with controlling, which should help you with your alerts and raids. Now the first loadout I'm bringing you is for the main POC controller of a raid. So okay, now let's go straight to our PowerPoints and see how I've spec'd it. Now in the assault tree, I've gone to Light Claws, Spikequake, Ram and Whipfrash. And the support tree, since I've got more PowerPoints in the support tree, I gain the additional, well, 5% critical attack and a 10 extra fit. But in the support tree I have boxing gloves, hand clap, impact, recharge, light barrier, grasp in hand, and group shielding. Now in iconics, I have Word of Power, Imitating Gaze, Wisdom of Solomon, and Powerful Resistance. Now the reason why I've done my PowerPoints that for is so I can change my loadout depends on which I'm doing for an alert or a raid, or if I'm becoming main troller or secondary troller on debuffs. Okay, now let's go to the loadout. Now this loadout, as I said before, is for the primary POC controller of a raid, and I will explain why. Okay, first of all, Light Claws is for your power over time. Recharge to give power to you and 3 other group members, plus it will increase your might and position for a short period, so it's quite nice. And then Spikequake. Now the reason why I say Spikequake 4 is because this is an ranged and it's an AoE knockdown. So if you're coming into BD and you're on the last boss and those ads come out of the portal which do like the flame breath attack, you could just use this and it'll knock them all down, relieving the people they're attacking from damage. Plus you won't need the debuffs because you're the primary troller and you won't be debuffing. And on to the next one, Light Barrier. Now this is a self shield, so this one I would have in because mostly just in case you're getting a lot of aggro, or if you need to revive someone, then you can pop this and you can do it. Plus it's always nice just to have it, so you know you always have a little bit of protection. Now onto the 2 supercharges, Group Shielding, 50% supercharge, and Word of Power, which is a 50% supercharge. Now the reason why I say to run 2 supercharges for the main power of time controller is because depends on the situation, is dependent on what supercharge you would need. Word of Power obviously just to give an incredible amount of power to your whole group, or Group Shielding in case you're probably in like Battleground and there's been like 3 people have died. You could pop this and that will relieve any damage from you and your group members, so you can all go and revive them. So pretty much this loadout will cover most situations for the primary controller. You have your pots, recharge, ag control, self-shielding, and depending on situation, your 2 supercharges. Right. Oops. Now onto the loadout for the debuff controller for a raid or an operation. Okay, so we're going to have Light Claws and Recharge, and then we're going to put in Whipfrash, and we're going to have in Grasp in Hand, which is that one there. Now if you want to, well, no, I'll get to that part. Okay, now the reason behind this loadout for is since they are the debuff controller. Obviously, you're going to be in charge of the debuffs, so it's going to be Light Claws. Just in case the power, the reason why I say to keep the Light Claws in for the secondary controller who's on debuffs is in case the main controller dies or can't get up because of the AoE. So that means you'll still be able to throw down a power over time and keep the power ticking over until the main controller's been revived. So that's always good to have in. So then it's recharge, your defense debuff. Now watch out, this one is melee, but I will show you how to clip the animation so you can get in, apply the debuff, and get out. Grasp in hand. This is most people use lightweight, which is very annoying for people in the way or the tank, because when you chuck it, it just knocks them out of the way. It's very frustrating for them, and it blocks line of sight. So grasp in hand is the better choice. It's ranged, doesn't block line of sight, and it doesn't hit anyone out the way. Plus, this one I will show you how to clip the animation as well, so you can get the debuff but no animation. And then to the two supercharges. Now, as a secondary controller, I probably would just be running Word of Power for a group shield, and I would probably for myself I would just run with the self barrier. So that means this could come in handy if I didn't know how to clip the animation of Whipfrash. I could put my shield up and then apply the debuff, saving me from any amount of damage. So that's the loadout I would run for the debuff controller. Most probably I would run that same one for alerts as well. But if you wanted to change it just for alerts, you could take out Grasp in Hand and Spike Quake, just for an AoE control. That would pretty much give you your basic loadouts for controllers to do with hard light, if you're not speccing a hybrid. Now, I'll go on to the trainer dummy, and I'll show you what I mean by clipping animation of the debuffs, so you can apply them and get out there as quick as possible and take minimum damage. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're pretty much going to apply the debuff and use recharge to clip the animation. But first of all, I'm just going to apply some power over time, just so I can have some power. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to use Whipfrash, and then as soon as immediately we've played Whipfrash, we're going to use recharge to clip the animation. So it looks something like this: Whipfrash, recharge. See that? You got the debuff, and there's no animation. So if you do that properly, you can use Whipfrash, recharge, and then quickly get out of there. Like that. So you're in there for the minimum time as possible, and you've done the debuff. Okay, now on to the second debuff, Grasp in Hand. Now this is what Grasp in Hand looks like without any animation at all being cut. As you can see, it's range. Doesn't block line of sight, and it does a lot of damage over time. Now as you can see, the damage it does. Okay, now on to the debuff with clipping off the animation. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to use Grasp in Hand, and then we're going to use a recharge to clip the animation right away. So it's Grasp in Hand, recharge, and roll out of the way. So there we go. Not only is he kept in place, he's also been debuffed, and you can get out of trouble. But if you just want to stay ranged as possible, you can quickly go Grasp in Hand and recharge. So not only are you debuffing, you're also given power at the exact same time. So once again, I'll just go through the debuffs. The melee debuff of Whipfrash, you go Whipfrash and then recharge. Right, so it looks something like this: Whipfrash, recharge, and roll out the way. Now you could jump out of the way, but unfortunately I'm in the layer and the ceiling's not that high. So the same with Grasp in Hand. As you see, I'm quite far from it, so I can just go Grasp in Hand and recharge. And there you get the debuff, and the animation is completely cut. So you're staying safe and sound. Now, as I said before, if you want to run this loadout, you can apply the, well, when the sparring partner gets back into place. Thank you. Now, if you just wanted to be extra safe with the whip thrash debuff, you could pop your shield, whip thrash, recharge, and get out of there. Just in case they decide to turn around and hit you, your shield will protect you from any damage. Well guys, I hope this loadout and quick tutorial on hard light trolling helps out. Please leave any comments or questions in the comment section below, and until next time, thanks for watching.